Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Yo, Master Kwasi Pratt Jr. Our yes, some for penny. Edema the Insight newspaper. Or the and some for be at the Akoma a year Mahmoud Bawumia our year Ghana. Man penny abidi chiri. Na ne sama okanyina ne say. A year Mahmoud Bawumia. Madeo, I didn't know so there no. Or say and now ye can say Israel for any a year Palestine for a dear Jinamu and Tokwano a year annoyed den. Ye now see him say Palestine for a year in Kramofor. Ya Nansame Biano. Omoni Israel for ekunya wentwi kakra na Israel for to bombs kum amount for ukro so over 30,000 people and so far o ma hwere omonkwa na mosques ahodo a ewo Palestine mu no na yetoto bombs gugu oni ho ade saa ensem yi no ama wiase nyina atene omano binum se de Israel no emfa ne kwan mu ebeya nko ntwa so nanso so ebinim se eye na enka yenim pa se de enkramofo ana se enkramofo like Islamic countries no dodo na ano metima kan se Islamic countries ni nyina ato manu tu se de Israel for eye no enye omuntwa so enti nanka ye hwehwe kwan se eye wo Dr. Bawumia wo susu betima biewa no na wo so watimi akabi esan se wo boss a wo di na che wo ye driver eye omanpenyini akufu ado abekasa na oso ono die ota Israel fo achi ena eye Kwasi practice se ota Israel fo achi dia ene won so eye Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ogina bia ene hefa wo so kire ye babia ogina ne yehu ogina bia na yehu die beye e de afa ho eno ana akoda ne buachi bidia ene ye hwe se Dr. Bawumia ochina so obekasa obeka ho asem ana se onka ho asem na yenko hwe video no se de eye owura Kwasi Pratt Jr. ekan wo Alhaji and Alhaji program so our Pan African TV and Radio Gold so na yemran pacho bomani so be subscribe to PENDREAM TV oba subscribe to channel no o like video na wa share amafoforo so ahu wo adwenkyere bi so ana wo de ato comment section na se yenko ne yenko hwe video no emra
moment. Mr. Pratt?
Well, I don't know how to put it, and I'm trying very hard to be mild. Look, I cannot for one moment understand this delay in announcing running mates and the madness and the rigmarole around choosing running mates. What will these presidential candidates take us for? Are you telling me that President John Mahama's decision to run for president was made yesterday? Are you telling me that? Now, when he was making the decision to run for president again, didn't he know that he was going to go with a running mate? Is he now looking for running mate? My goodness, I can't understand this. And Bawumia, when did he decide to run for president when Anado leaves? Yesterday. And they are keeping us, on every now and then some new story. Every now and then something about running mate. My friends, choose your running mates now and let's get on with it. What's this useless wait? Sana, I can't understand. What is so difficult about choosing a running mate? That should take all this time, that there should be all this drama around it and so on. What is the problem? Now listen, people who want to be president must be decisive. They must be able to take decisions in the nick of time. What these presidential candidates are telling us is that it is very difficult for them to make decisions. And if that is the case, this country is doomed. They can't even choose their running mate. What choices can they make about the economy? So I'm completely disgusted by this rigmarole, not knowing what to do and creating all this mess. All of the presidential candidates, not one, all of them are behaving the same way. And I'm completely disgusted by this behavior. They can't take decisions and they expect us to have confidence in them. And for me, the worst part is what the Honorable Member of Parliament has described. I am from Ashanti region, so I should be Vice President. I am from the Northern region, so I should get that. I am from Western region, so I should get that. Are we mad? We must understand that the choice of running mate is about resolving the concrete problems that confront Ghana's people. If you go and choose a running mate from the Volta region, does that automatically lead to lowering inflation? If you go and choose a running mate from the Bawumia region, what problem does that solve? So this regionalism is nonsensical, it is foolish, it is populist, it makes no sense. Choice of running mate on the basis of where they come from, tribe and so on. Does it make sense to you? It is foolish. You go and choose somebody from the Volta region. So what? Does that take you out of the IMF program? Does that reduce the stock of the national debt? You go and take somebody from Bumpurgu. How does that help you? How does that help the country? So one of the things we must be emphasizing is competence. Competence. Who can help us solve the concrete problems that faces Ghana today? Who has the answers? Who has the track record? These are the issues. We have all been paying lip service to our commitment to gender equality over many years. Lip service. Anytime a woman is put somewhere, we connive, we conspire, we do all kinds of things, we go and uproot her. And then we come and say we are committed to gender equality. Look, I don't think, and I'm honest about it, that all women are good. There are women who are thieves. There are women who are murderers. There are women who do all kinds of things. But also there are good women too. There are bad women and good women. In much the same way that there are good men and bad men. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And I think that our commitment to gender equality must not be by lip service alone. We need to take concrete actions in order to do that. You understand? If you ask me, if this choice of running mate delays again, I will make up my mind about these presidential candidates. They can't decide. They have no capacity to decide simple things like running mate. How can they have capacity to decide major policy issues? The president declares war. Do you know that? If you're a president, it comes to a point where you have to say that, look, our soldiers should go and fight. Now, if you cannot choose your running mate in good time, and so on, when it comes to the declaration of war, how are you going to perform? Presidents are so powerful that they actually sometimes play God. They decide who should live and who should die. Every president has the capacity to sign the death warrant for people to be killed. Do you know that? Presidents, they can sign your death warrant, you'll be killed. One time. They can also, even when the courts have convicted you and sentenced you to death, presidents can say no. Presidents are supposed to be playing God. I mean, and if you decide who should live and who should not live, are you not playing God? So if you have this enormous power, we are going to give you this enormous power, and it takes you 1 year to decide who your running mate should be, then there's a problem with you. If you're going to give you all of this power, and we have allowed this thing to fester to the extent that, and please, I beg you, excuse my language, today I'm struggling to find the appropriate language. Any idiot gets up and says I'm the best qualified to be running mate because I was born in Bombíńğ. Any idiot. And it is because the presidential candidates have allowed this to fester. Some of the names, I mean, you know them, I don't want to mention them. Mother, you hear the name, and then you have like, but this one too, Abba, how? This one too, when so, I'm being very calm. I mean, this running mate thing, I'm being very calm. Now, I'm being very calm. But nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Nonsense. And the one that kills me, cry, is the religious thing. Look, Kenoforiata may have failed in many things. I don't know. But he has succeeded in one thing. Kenoforiata, within the last 7 years, has taught us that Bible recitations do not solve economic problems.
Yeah.
That's his success. Huge success. He may have failed in everything, but has succeeded in teaching us that sanctimonious looks and Bible recitations do not solve concrete economic problems. And we should be learning that lesson and using that lesson in our march forward. Christian Muslim ticket, and so what? What does it bring? Or Muslim ticket, and so what? Check our history, check the record. The Indian Fitr Festival became a national holiday when both president and vice presidents were Christians.
Yeah.
Check. Check. Many of the gains that the Muslim community has had in our country happened when both vice president and president were Christians. I'm not saying that means that we should always have Christians as president and vice president. We could have Muslim too as president and vice president. Yeah. We should be looking at output. Yeah. Look, today we are talking Christian, Muslim, and so on. Bawumia, when he was campaigning to be vice president, one of the things he said was that Muslims would have another Muslim in the Flagstaff house if he was voted for. Is that not what he said? Since being in the Flagstaff house, what have been the gains that Muslims have had? As we sit here, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is being bombed, and his government is saying that it stands firmly with Israel. Alright? The Al-Aqsa Mosque is being bombed, and the government in which he, a Muslim, is saying that they stand firmly with Israel. Firmly, not just stand with Israel, firmly with Israel. And there are many Christians around the world who are standing up and saying this genocide against the Palestinian people must stop. There are many Christians around the world who are standing up and saying that, look, bombing of mosques should stop, and so on. What has Alhaji Bawumia said about the situation in Palestine? I dare him to open his mouth about Palestine. I dare him to open his mouth about the destruction of mosques in Palestine. Don't waste our time. And President Mahama, look, this your long delay is serving no purpose but just generating confusion after confusion. That's your long delay. Who is it benefit? It's not benefiting you. It's not benefiting the NDC. It's not benefiting Ghana. It's not benefiting anybody. The earlier President John Mahama came and announced his running mate, the better it will be for this country. So stop wasting our time.
Thank you. Honorable.
I wanted to say he should.
That's what I mean for the whole of Ghana. I mean, nobody loves this confusion. Every day, new running mates. And this thing is dividing us.
Yes.
There's some people who are saying that, look, If the running mate doesn't come for the Volta region, the people of the Volta region should not vote for him. They shouldn't vote for him. What stupidity is that? And then some say, oh, Ashanti, we have to break the MPP hold in Ashanti, so it must be an Ashanti. What nonsense is that? And then some people say, oh, if the person doesn't come from Central region will not vote. What rubbish is that? The constitution of the party and the constitution of Ghana says that the presidential candidate has the power to choose the running mate. You should leave the presidential candidate to choose his running mate and stop this useless pressure. Stop this useless pressure. Completely useless pressure. What is this? And I heard somebody who calls himself an elder of the party saying that for him is waiting. If Muhammad chooses the running mate and it's not his choice, something will happen. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Stop this rubbish.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I will not lob a grenade into my own house.
Who is launching the grenade?
Say when you start outside your whole family house and you throw a grenade, you get your relatives.
Who is launching the grenade?
Well, let me do just a few comments. A few comments coming in on this matter. This one says, Prof. Nana is simply the best, should not be changed. Tell Kojo that they should be ringing the alarm bell still. It's all over. I'm not sure MPP needs our votes. They have something in mind.
It's not important.
No, it's not.
The campaign for Professor Nana it's not important. The president should choose his running mate and let's move on. What is this? Bawumia should choose his. Every presidential candidate should choose their running mate and let's move on. No campaign. The region where they come from is not important. Their religion is not important. Have you been following this research by Global Info Analytics? Have you been following it?
Yes.
Have you been following it?
Yes, I've been following.
What are you learning from that research? CDD, when they do that, don't you read? All kinds of ignorant, selfish, self-seeking people have jumped onto the political scene and are behaving in very repugnant manner.
Thank you. I have a few minutes. I have about 15 minutes more to go.
What kills me are the threats.
It looks like you have a lot more to say than you are saying.
I told you.
Anyway, well, 15
The threats are annoying.
Yes.
The threats are so annoying.
A brave man is the one who knows when to run.
I see. Well, thank you. Thank you. Before I come to Kwasi Pratt, I think this one is directly addressed to him. This one is Jonas says, please ask Uncle Pratt who's Nkrumah's vice president or running mate was. Because he didn't come across anything of sort. Now, if Nkrumah can run this country without a vice president or running mate, it means this country can be run without a running mate or vice president. So please, let's go back and learn from Nkrumah. Mr. Pratt.
Unfortunately, we have a different constitution. The constitution we have insists on a running mate. So, unfortunately, we are not the drafters of the 1992 constitution. Honorable Member of Parliament, now you have said that since the last time, you've been trying very hard to understand what is happening in the Middle East. I don't know what sources you've been learning from, but they are very bad sources. Okay. Because Hamas has fully claimed responsibility for what happened on October 7th. Fully. They haven't run away from what they did. They claimed responsibility for what happened on October 7th. And Hamas leaders are not in bunkers running away. They are fighting. They are in the battlefield. 2 weeks ago, Israeli figures suggested that about 300 Israeli soldiers have died in the fighting. How did they die in the fighting if Hamas had run away and they were hiding? Other reports indicate that thousands of Israeli soldiers have died in the fighting. Tanks have been destroyed and so on. And I've seen Hamas militants in the field fighting, destroying tanks and so on. So they are not in hiding. In any case, if we refer to international law, international law does not under any circumstance give the occupier the right to defend himself against the occupied. International law discriminates in favor of the occupied. Only the occupied under international law has a right to pick up weapons and fight. Israel is the occupier. The Palestinians are occupied. You can never put them at the same level. And indeed, October 7th was not the beginning of the conflict.
No.
The conflict dates back 75 years ago. What is happening in Palestine cannot be justified under any circumstance. Cannot be justified under any circumstance. Look, if you are counting those who are lost under the rubble, more than 30,000 people have been killed. More than 30,000 people have been killed. 30,000. Can you imagine? 30,000 people killed. 2/3 of those who have been killed are women and children. Women and children. You understand? Innocent women and children. Nothing can justify the genocide which is being committed in Palestine by Israel. And I am ashamed, completely ashamed, that my own government, my president, is able to declare that he stands firmly with Israel. So shocking. I'm so ashamed. I'm so embarrassed. I can't raise my head up. And this is being done in my name. This is being done in my name. Support for Israel is being done in my name. I can't believe it. Look, what is happening in Gaza will have serious consequences for Israel, for the entire Middle East, and for the world. In our own interest, we have to act decisively and now to stop this genocide.
In the meantime, whilst there's failure to act, it continues. In fact, one of the saddest reports I've heard about is about Palestinian journalists who've decided to stay within Gaza and report what is going. The Israeli army has decided to target their families and where they live.
They're killing journalists like that. But you know, this world is so full of hypocrisy, I cannot believe it. You know, yesterday, this Russian dissident died in prison. And among those condemning Putin is Zelensky. I can't believe it. Zelensky condemning Putin. Zelensky, who has been sending murder squads into Moscow to go and kill journalists. Journalists for supporting Russia's war effort. Journalists for expressing their views. Zelensky too has the effrontery to be opening his mouth. I mean, the level of hypocrisy is unbelievable. The President of the United States of America, how many people haven't the CIA killed? Including Patrice Lumumba, including Salvador Allende, and so on. And yesterday, look at them. Belgium was also complaining. Hypocrisy, my friend.
Yo, enti video no ena yakohwe ede aba no ane video no ena yakohwe ede aba no Uncle Kwasi Pratt or the bi atoto ede amane Mamudu Bawumia or say so ye bema ane so ye bema kasa kan bibi na ye nhwe so ye bema wo se wo wani eden a anasa wo no uye obi a we honest a enkramofo any Israel and their Kuntokai. Ya Ghana, New Yasi, United say Israel Sabi, the Omoyan and Yana Pine Sonono, and Toka or Mokono and Yana Pine Sonono. A Christopher Brea Cassette as a no, Bea, and Ka Israel ain't Chasso, Common Chad your Moyan or so, because Ani a ya nyai, and who ain't ya and net 21st century, and yet afe and yebeko. Nation to nation war ne sa anyoma no asem ba yentena se ne yenka ne yenyim firi honum danse ye betwetwe nkrante ntuo bombs ne ho ade ade akunkum nipa na nde America say nipa be over 30,000 and ahwere omonkwa na wo man penyini a wo udi n'akyi ɛyɛ fɛnsɛn Akufo-Addo atumi apia abɔnten sɛ ɔno deɛ ɔta Israelfoɔ akyi sɛ Israelfoɔ enkunkun ɛyɛ fɛnsɛn Palestinians yi ɔmo nkunkun ɔmo Gazafoɔ ɔmo nkunkun Gazafoɔ no like they should kill them. Asɛm a ɛyɛ ɔmanpanyin Akufo-Addo aka no, he supports them ɔsɔ no ɔta ɔmo akyi. They should fight hard. Ɔta ɔmo akyi. Na wo sɔre a wo ne nam ɛna wo ka kyerɛ nkramofoɔ sɛ wo deɛ wo yɛ nkramoni ne yɛ ma fɛnsɛn nkramofoɔ ɛne fɛnsɛn asɔrefoɔ nka ɔmo ho mom ɛwɔ ɛyɛ Flagstaff House we kɔ asɔre we kɔ kramosom sɛ ne bɛyɛ bɛboa ama kramosom na tumi agyina na afei asɛm bi sɛ yaba na wo yɛ nkramoni no yɛhwehwɛ sɛ ka so ba bɛgyina mu akasa ama nkramofoɔ sɛ o sɛ me driver no sɛ ɔno ɔta ɛyɛ nkramofo Israelfoɔ no akyi a me deɛ meta ɛyɛ ɛfɛn Gazafoɔ no akyi me so meta ɔmo akyi na nka ɛmfa confidence bi mpo ɛmmra ɛyɛ nkramofoɔ som no because we ɛnya Kristofoɔ ɛne nkramofoɔ ntɔkwa o because saa nkrofo Israelfoɔ America say Israelfoɔ ɔmo nyɛ Christians ɔmo yɛ Jews ɔmo yɛ Judaism ne saa nyɔmanyɔ na ɔmo practice wɔ hɔ and they are not Christians. What must say? So enye Christian any Islamic for and enya ntokwa no eye Hamas for ene kokon mo ntokwa ena Israel for say Hamas for no e wo Gaza ho de a ene omo de omo tutu bomb agum ena omo tutu bomb na mu de say ekunkum amanfo mo fence mosques ne ho ade nyina e say oman no enti eno enda wi ase ebinim ka se no ne Israelfo no ye no muntwa so enti no se wo bibi a obetumi aye de afa ho a wo bibi ka fa ho a wo so kasa wo ye kramoni wo hwehwe president adi wo Ghana kasa me ente wo ne bie wano na so ka bi se bi a ne ekoso no me ne omo ya adwena na me ne omo nya adwena na omuntwa de omo ye no so ka bi mpo na enhye nkramofo nkran se o nipa we pushi no e ma no kotena ho no mo a ono so obehwe ya agenda obe weki amaye nso so no se bibi koso na ekotia ya ono so betumi aye bold abegyina mu na akasa amaye anso so hwe wo president o mate driver na wankasa odi adanse se enyoma nkoyie ne nyoma wo ye na nkoyie na wo ba be fa kwan foforo so no ono atumi asore ono krampo atumi asore ejina Israelfo achi se omunkunkum omontoto bomb ngun kramofo asore dan mu omon sai honom na wo ye kramoni no a wonim se sa anyoma na ekoso no ya busude eye bone eye haram no wuntumi nsore en kasanti ase no they should stop it na enya de papa wo so to ese silence means consent. So why is silent there? Nature say wo no near Omanpanyin Akufo-Addo aka no one ne ya adwene say Israel for no koso antoto bomb enko honko say enko kunkum amanfo wo fence mosques ne ho ade eno ene ye Uncle Kwasi Pratt or ka ho asem no be bold so so ye Omanpanyin a yemfa oman enhya won sa masa oman ana a kindie no enye small thing no you have to be brave I was say we brave ya share the likes of Atamels will krum hada. Everybody knew that Atamels will be a Professor Atamels will be a na ojo, but we are very principled. Yen na nim a young man penny Aliu Mahama. He was very principled. Yen na John Mahama, the brand no ye vice president. He was principled. Obuno or Kasasua to me what you say. Sometimes in some kind na Atamels going to mean cano or no John Mahama to me but jinem a cat at the man a supported the man. What I say, it tells you that the person or you will be like Owakudro, that your man shall and so be to me, I'll be boo man, make timer. Now rolling say Tata Tamils, but be a Fabiana Tamils, here president, be a Fabiana Tamils, rolling say, Echo can say, dear Ben, I think says a rollings now, can you say, ne can you say, a fan saying, what me will feed your kind. Now or more fence or can be ebetia Atamils. John Mahama and a back cancer or back like or back question no or back cassette or back cassette fence Rollins and then defend your man penny John Dramani friend say omanpeni Professor Atamos wote ase ono ne be defending no eno na ema friend say friend say Rollins de koka friend say taka tika gangali taka tika gangali or de koka sa asam no na because na friend say John Mahama akananim otwe ne yiranim ena ode koka taka tika gangali ho asam bi rafi issue no but me wo dey me ka next time me ka e dey akere mu what I say John Mahama me ehun say he is strong what I say onye hunfo sa asam no ye no kra dia be kan say de yete me respect you me boo but me ka asam no kra na akere wo am wo hu say ne wo ye no nya ne kwan so no. Those are some friends say those are the leaders are yes hwehwe dia ma oman Ghana enya ne wo sabi asori mua asori dan mua mox mua ne etwa jagu kunkum amanfo wo ye to bombs ekunkum amanfo wo mox na wo eho kramoni a wo nam a wo dada nkramofo say omonto abama na wo ba you baba be ye omo representative ene e ho ade na wo mum and na waye kom waye din na wo support Akufo-Addo say onko gina Israel for achi so yenkunkum kramofo e wo mo ankramofo mo kwa asori akofre nyame yenkunkum mo. You have to be ashamed of yourself as a friend say a flag bearer. Etino aha PENDREAM TV so be so say obe subscribe to this channel who subscribe button na odo wonsa atim so ade amaye ani kai hunu say PENDREAM TV akofa PENDREAM FM e de aba ye say wo adwenkyere bi afa oman Ghana juma manyo sem ho a also suit me the wadwene ba ema ye publish e bono PENDREAM FM so e de ma wo hwe number na e da screen so 0277128777 yes be a citizen and not a spectator. PENDREAM TV edamu yopo
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases PENDREAM TV.
My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, o see them yopo.